Can I have a cup?
Do you usually pretend to be asleep? I haven't done that since I was a kid.
It's good fun, though. Especially when your husband gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning and straps on a real gun. If you go out with a gun, I suppose you expect to use it.
In an emergency. But I doubt it.
Is it very dangerous? This thing you won't tell me anything about?
Oh, darling, I told you last night. It's routine. A bit unusual, perhaps, but routine.
The sort of routine that might mean you getting shot at?
Look, I'm not saying any more about it.
I just want to know whether to expect you back.
Tomorrow evening.
Not when. Whether.
Here now.
Oh, I changed my mind. I don't think I'll have any tea. I'll go up now. Goodbye.
No. Don't worry. I'm afraid you'll have to put up with me again tomorrow night.
If only I didn't feel I was watching some rotten Alan Ladd film.
Come on in.
Thank you, sir.
Go into the kitchen. I've made a cup of tea.
Thank you, sir.
Sit down.
Thank you.
There we are. Sugar?
2, please, sir.
We're going to Parkhurst. Get the 5 o'clock ferry across to the Isle of Wight and pick up a prisoner called Charles Albert Change. Take him to Durham Prison, all right?
Yes, sir.
Got a copy of the itinerary for you. Have you been told anything?
Just to collect a chief superintendent, sir.
Draw a firearm?
Yes, sir. Parkhurst to Durham.
I'm making a detour.
We don't meet the motorway till north of Darlington.
We're taking this route round the east of London. Puts about 50 miles on the trip. Just in case any of Change's friends have got wind of the transfer. Get ideas about trying to stop us. I've also asked for an RT silence throughout the whole journey. If it has to be broken, our code name is Operation Papa Charlie. RT call sign, Papa Charlie 1.
Are you expecting trouble?
You know who Change is.
Of course.
Well then, just expect anything.
There are 2 of them at top security in Parkhurst.
Jack and Charles, father and son.
You're not very popular with either, are you, sir?
No, not really. I nicked them both at Christmas time, on successive years.
Very seasonal, sir.
Yeah, that's what they said. Got your toothbrush?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, sir.
My driver, P.C. Noble. I'm escorting the prisoner Charles Change to Durham.
Oh, yes, sir, he's on his way down and your escort car's waiting.
Good. Been any more trouble since the last one?
No, sir, he's been very quiet this last couple of days. He even said that he was looking forward to seeing you again.
Feelings far from mutual.
Yes, sir.
Ah, Mr. Change. How are you?
Well, come on, man, be civil. You've got a long journey ahead of you, so you may as well be friendly.
It's all right. Doesn't have to say anything. You going with him?
Yes, sir.
Right, let's get going.
How's Mrs. Change?
You better cool down, hadn't you? Because they're in a soul in Mars. Let's not waste our breath, eh?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you think Jack will be all right now that we've moved you? No more tantrums? Didn't know you two didn't hit it off. Spectacle of father and son scrapping has always struck me as being most undignified. You know you went to the governor.
I went to the governor.
He went as well. Told him if he had to spend another week with you in that block, he'd kill you.
He meant I would kill him.
And then the authorities got wind of an escape plan.
Who was meant to be escaping? Him or me?
You.
Oh, that is a tribute. What a clever geezer I must be. I've got to be clever to escape from that fortress.
And they thought it was better if you two were split up. That's why you're being transferred.
You're a specialist at splitting up families, ain't you, Kingdom?
Look, don't let's go into all that, eh?
Nah. It wasn't enough that I should do 15 years. You had to send my Jacko up for a dozen. I'll tell you what, we are never going to forget Santa Claus, 1970 and 1971. You're unforgettable, Mr. Kingdom.
Oh, I know. And I love you, too. You and your nice boy. For all the killing and blackmail and torture, the pain you caused innocent people over 10 years of...
Innocent people.
Look, I'm not here to pass the time of day. What about all that money? I've been looking for it.
What
It's in a deposit account, we know that much.
What
We
money?
reckon it must be about 100,000 quid.
What money?
I'm talking about the fruits of 10 years of piracy.
What money?
As we went through Hampshire and Sussex this morning, Charlie, did you get a good look at the scenery? Did it occur to you that it might be the very last time in your life you ever see green fields and trees and falling leaves? You're not in the peak of condition, I believe.
I'll manage.
You won't last out another 8 years of stir. I've seen a very bad report on your heart.
I saw that too. I've also had a look at your stars. They don't seem too good to me.
Yeah. You're not going to be alive to spend it. That's what I'm driving at.
Spend what? You're not saying you're concerned about me snuffing it in prison.
Yes, I am. 15 years for a man of 55 who has a coronary is not my idea of a good way to reclaim a soul. That's supposed to be the business I'm in. I mean, it's all right for retribution.
You're right. You're a rich right one. You broke up my family, Mr. Kingdom. Me, they're my only boy. You left my wife and my girl back there, defenseless. You done that. You hounded us and you're sobbing about me snuffing it in stir. You done greater damage to my family than any right villain with a pistol ever could.
What about the damage you did? You broke and destroyed every decent human being you ever came in contact with. Had women and kids cowering in corners away from your threats and your gunmen. You and your son. Call that a family. You sit there and have the gall to accuse me of breaking up a family. What about the families you broke up? Where's that money?
What was that about me having it away?
It was a whisper.
Whoa. Get out the safest beater in the world.
Look, you've got enough money stashed away to finance an army, and don't tell me you haven't been working on it.
That's right, yeah.
Charlie, how is Mrs. Change? How is your wife?
In the pink. How's yours?
Why? Please tell me. Why? Will somebody tell me what's happened? What do you want? Who are you?
Be quiet, please.
I won't be quiet. Why are you doing this?
Better if you stopped talking altogether and just waited.
For what? What are we waiting for?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Now, you're a nice, educated lady. Can you answer me a question? What's a nice, educated lady doing married to a copper?
Is that what you are, Nice, educated lady?
I was just asking. What's a nice, educated lady doing married to a lawman?
Answer the man.
Is it something to do with John?
John? John? Do you call him Johnny? Or Jack?
Is it? It's something to do with my husband.
Do you get on well with the chief superintendent? Are you a happily married lady?
When I look at you, I want to ask you all sorts of personal questions. Fortunately, there are gentlemen present.
Please tell me.
Shall I tell her? Why we got you out of bed, ma'am? Heard of hijacking? You've been hijacked.
What do you mean?
It's simple, really, Mrs. Kingdom. Like when a geezer blags an aircraft and has it away with the passengers. Well, you know, $1 million in a carrier bag. Otherwise, you can say goodbye to the passengers. Well, this time, you're the passengers.
And Charles Albert Change is the $1 million.
Who?
Detective Chief Superintendent Johnny, husband, is escorting a Mr. Change from the Isle of Wight to Durham.
That's where he was going to when we came into your life, darling. Well, didn't you know?
Of course, she didn't know. He wouldn't tell her.
Change.
Mr. Change is being transferred by your old Bill from Top Security Parkhurst to Top Security Durham. And you are the insurance policy that's going to liberate him into the fresh air.
You mean I'm being held to ransom?
I'm watching all them old cowboy movies.
That's right, my love. You're being held to ransom. Now, I don't want you to worry your educated little head about anything. Because when he hears that you are safe with us, which will be in about an hour, he is naturally going to agree to release Mr. Change on the journey at a special place. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, or as you'd say in your old man's jargon, 1500, we'll get a call on the blower to the effect that Mr. Change has been let out of custody. So then we'll brush you down, put the blinds back on you, take you into a field somewhere, turn you around 3 times and let you go. So you don't have to worry. Yes, of course, he don't love you. In which case, you have definitely got problems.
What will happen if he doesn't agree to all this?
I'm afraid it's this. You see, I happen to be a relation. Charles Albert Change is my father.
Papa Charlie 1 from MP, are you receiving? Over. Papa Charlie 1 from MP, are you receiving? Over.
MP from Papa Charlie 1. Loud and clear.
Papa Charlie 1 from MP, message for Chief Superintendent Kingdom. Will you proceed immediately to Cray End Police Station and receive a telephone call from D.S. Ward? It will be coming through at 1030 hours. The message is urgent. Ends. Origin Information Room 1014 MP, over.
Papa Charlie 1, received. Out. Take this next turn on the left. The Crane police station's about 200 yards down on the left. Yes, sir.
Papa Charlie.
Quiet.
Chief Superintendent Kingdom, I'm escorting a prisoner. Can you lock him up for a few minutes? I've had to break the journey.
Yes, sir. Put him in cell number 3. Right.
Where can we talk?
And my office?
Can I take a call then?
Certainly.
Prisoner's Charlie Change. I'm taking him to Durham.
Yes, sir.
I received a signal saying there'd be a message for me. I get a phone call here at about 10:30. Know anything about it?
No, sir. We haven't been informed. Was it coming to us?
Yes. It'll be from a DS ward. Should be coming any moment. Have it put through here, will you?
Yes, sir. There's a call due in from a DS ward for Detective Chief Superintendent Kingdom. Have it put through to my... Oh, is it? Then have it transferred to my other line. Sergeant Ward, sir.
Now listen, Alan.
No. You listen, Kingdom. We have your wife, and we'll kill her if Charles Change isn't released into open countryside on your journey north by 3 o'clock. If by 3 o'clock Charlie's not been released, your wife will be shot dead.
Trace this call quickly.
Take the route you intended, and don't tell anyone about this call. And do as you're told when something happens. Do as you're told, don't forget that. We'll save your face. We'll make it appear as if it was a kosher escape. Just do as you're told when it happens. And if anything goes wrong, or he isn't free by 3 o'clock, she's gone. We mean it, Kingdom.
Get me the commander. Central office at the yard. Make it quick.
4 squad cars turn up 1 o'clock in the morning. It was Christmas Eve. The whole family. The uncles, aunts, cousins, my gran, the neighbours' kids. In walked 10 plainclothes coppers led by your old man. That's how he jumped my dad. He did the same next Christmas with Jacko. Oh, we knew we had no protection when he took Jacko. I had to get a shooter. We went about in fear of our lives, my mum and me. She's crippled. Know that? You? 15 years. And another 12 for Jacko. Your old man done that to our family. You don't know what I mean by family. Everything my dad ever done, he done for us, his family. He was a rogue, certainly. Bit of a bastard at times, but he never hurt anybody unless he had to. Rubbish your chief superintendent brought up in court. The strokes he pulled at the Old Bailey against an old man with heart disease, it was unbelievable. He dragged in every lie and snout he could find. It was all a pack of lies, my love, from beginning to end. Did you know your old man was a bloody liar? Did you? Did you? I'm asking you a question.
No, he's not a liar.
There was a call box in Kensington. Nothing there.
Can you tell me what else you require, sir?
I'm not on this anymore. Chief Superintendent Peterson is taking over.
Sir?
Let me into cell number 3, will you?
Yes, sir.
don't know what you're talking about.
I'm warning you, Change. I'm warning you. Nobody can hear a word in here. Now, I've never laid a hand on a prisoner in my life. But I'm going to tear your guts out if you don't tell me now. Where is she?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your lot have got her!
I beg your pardon. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you don't know, eh? You don't know I'm supposed to hand you over this afternoon in exchange for my wife's life.
What? Is that a fact?
Where is she?
I swear I don't know. Honestly. For God's sake! What have you done? It's my heart. It's my heart.
Tell me where she is.
I don't know. Honest, I don't.
And you'll tell me what you do know.
I swear I didn't know about your missus. I wouldn't have let them do that. Get a doctor. John!
Get a doctor. She's had a heart attack.
Get a doctor. Quick about it. Quick about it.
Out. Wait outside. You shouldn't have gone in there, John.
Is it true? Has she gone?
Yes. The sheets were all over the floor. Things were broken. There'd been a struggle. They took her out the back way. Up to now, there are no reports of anybody in the street hearing anything.
He's taken me off the case.
Is it any wonder? You might have killed a man already. John, leave it to me. If it's humanly possible, I'll find her for you. Trust me, will you, please?
I must think. There's so little time.
"162, are you receiving? This is 198. Are you receiving?"
Over.
Hello, 198. This is 162. Yeah, I'm receiving. All gone right. It's all correct. Over.
Got you then. Okay then. Over and out.
Here. I remember how my mum screamed in court. She's a rheumatoid arthritic. I remember how when we were kids, a copper called my family pigs in a sty. That was before my dad showed them who the pigs were and that coppers could be bought like legs of lamb on hooks, so he was respected then.
Mrs. Roper, we got a long time to wait. Wouldn't it be better if we just...
I'm paying you a lot of money to shut up.
The prison commissioners, in conjunction with the prison liaison officer, recommended the direct route. That's the M1 all the way up. But at our second meeting, I suggested this detour. And the final schedule was fixed up then.
When was that?
Yesterday.
Who was at the meeting?
Prison liaison officer, Detective Chief Superintendent Hodgson, Sergeant Ward, and the secretary.
Ward and Hodgson, please.
I then telephoned the chief constables of each county force to arrange escort cars and to inform police stations en route that we'd be stopping them.
There are only 2 stops. Second one's Grantham. How many copies of this are there in circulation?
7.
Who has a copy?
I have one, sir.
So have I.
And that's mine. The liaison officers, commissioners, and 2 for the record.
Have you shown yours to anybody?
No, sir.
Anybody at all?
No, sir.
Think. Anybody.
No, sir.
You, Mr. Hodgson?
No, nobody at all.
Excuse me, sir. The doctor thinks the prisoner should go straight to hospital.
Is he fit to answer questions?
No, sir. He's unconscious.
All right, take him to hospital. 2 plainclothes men to keep him company. Ask Inspector Briginshaw to take charge of that. And instruct me the moment he regains consciousness. And listen, I want that guard armed. And no one is to know that the man going into hospital is Change. Inspector Briginshaw must fix that up with the hospital staff. Give him another name. You got all that?
Yes, sir.
Look, surely the position is this. Someone had sight of that itinerary. Somebody knew exactly where Papa Charlie was going to be at any given time. And they also knew that Sergeant Ward knew about the transfer.
No, they rigged the call in my name. They simply dialed 999 and were put through to the information.
They could be watching the car throughout its journey, waiting to pounce. What did it say, this message?
Do as you're told when something happens.
When what happens?
No, we don't know that, do we? I imagine there's a plan to ambush the car. I can't see anything else succeeding, can you?
3 o'clock. Where would we be, say, the half hour before?
Just coming into Yorkshire. About here.
Now, if they're watching the car, or spotting it en route, they'll know that something's wrong if we don't go on.
I had the same thought, John.
We must go on. If they think I've blabbed, they might...
I'll have every takeover point on that road armed and watching you. Sergeant Ward. Excuse me. You don't look too unlike Charlie Change.
Move on, sir.
Put the prisoner's hat and coat on and get in the car. Mr. Kingdom's right. If you don't get that car back on the road as though nothing had happened, they might carry out their threat to kill Mrs. Kingdom. Secretary. He said there was a secretary. Who was the secretary? The one who typed those out?
Oh, there was Jean Gorton.
I want her picked up and brought here within half an hour. Use the line out there.
She's been with us for years.
Get me Commander's central office at the yard. You realize, of course, that anybody, no matter what their rank or position, anybody who was at that meeting, who had sight of this, is now under suspicion of passing information to that gang, don't you?
Yes, of course.
Someone's working on the inside. Could be anybody. Could even be Sergeant Ward, or perhaps you.
No.
Well, we'll see. I intend to find out who it is, and I'm going to give myself 1 hour in which to do it. Yes? Ah, good. Send her in.
Miss Gorton, sir.
Miss Gordon, sit down, please.
Thank you.
You don't know why you've been rushed here like this?
No, I'm completely in the dark.
I want to put a few questions to you about some work you did yesterday. You're employed as secretary in the prison commissioner's office.
Yes.
Yesterday, you took shorthand notes at a meeting where the transfer of Charlie Change from Parkhurst to Durham was discussed.
Oh, yes, I typed out the memorandum.
Yes, I know that. Who did you show it to?
Who did I show it to?
That's what I said. Who did you show it to besides the people whose names are on it? This is the document, I mean. Did you show it to anybody at all? Think hard about this, because somebody saw it or copied it and took notes. Did you leave it lying around, anything like that?
No, I made 7 copies straight away and I took them into the meeting. I handed them over and that's the last I saw of them.
You didn't leave the room while you were typing. Could they have been copied while they were in your possession?
Well, no, they couldn't. That was a highly secret document.
It was. It is no longer secret.
Why? What's happened?
The Change Gang has got hold of a copy of it. They are, at this moment, lying in wait for the car that has taken him to the north of England. They are somewhere on the way.
Well, that's terrible. Well, it has nothing to do with me, I can assure you. I took them straight into the liaison officer and I saw him hand out the copies. There were 2 for the files and they were locked away. I saw him do it.
It could only have happened yesterday because it was only at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon that the final decision on the route was taken. These people must have been told immediately.
You can't be suggesting that it was me.
Well, if it was you, Miss Gorton, I have some worrying news for you. This gang is holding Superintendent Kingdom's wife as a hostage against Charlie Change's release. They say they will kill her at 3 o'clock if Change is not out of our custody by then.
No.
Of course, if it isn't you, then you will be worrying in the way that we are worrying, that an innocent woman can be killed in this barbaric way in an attempt to subvert justice. But if it is you, and you didn't know the intentions of this group of people, then it will have come as a considerable shock to you.
Well, it's not me. I can assure you I know nothing about this.
Well, let us assume for the moment that it is you. Let us suppose that they are paying you an enormous sum of money to tell them the route that the car is taking. Will it come as an even greater shock to you to hear that, far from giving in to this blackmail, Superintendent Kingdom is at this moment on his way north with a bogus prisoner? In fact, Charlie Change is lying in Cray End Hospital under heavy guard.
Well, it doesn't come as any shock to me.
Well, let me put it this way. If it is you, and you are being paid the money when the goods are delivered, then you will quickly come to the conclusion that you are not going to see any money. And on top of that, you will be directly responsible for the death of an innocent person for which you will receive a life sentence.
This is grotesque. The way you're talking to me, it's grotesque.
You may be right. But I should like you to stay here with us until 3 o'clock. If you think I'm bluffing about Charlie Change, I'll have you escorted to the hospital where he's lying unconscious. We'll show him to you.
But I don't need to be taken to any hospital. I've done nothing, and it's scandalous.
I'll apologize to you after 3 o'clock. Surely you can have no objection to staying here with us? Have lunch with us.
I'm working. I was dragged out.
Please, Miss Gorton. We'll explain matters to your boss. You're helping us with an inquiry.
Very well.
There are seats outside. The station sergeant will bring you some sandwiches. There is also a clock. When you see that it is past 3 o'clock, and there is very little chance of saving Mrs. Kingdom's life, you may go. Sergeant?
This has been a setup.
What do you mean?
Change and his son staged those quabbles in the nick. Then they both went to the governor and asked for a transfer. It was a put-up and the escape story.
How do you work that out?
When I netted the Charlie Change crowd, Jacko took over all the protection rackets and the terrorism in West London with Charlie's blessing. If Jack had fallen out with him, the gang would never have helped Charlie to escape.
He may be the only one who can get at that deposit account.
Yeah, that's more like it. They're all after the loot. Can't afford to let Charlie die in jail. Unless, of course, this is a family matter.
Huh?
His wife's bedridden. She could be masterminding this, paying off the gang when Charlie can get at the money. And there's his half-wit daughter.
Their family against yours.
that works out.
Yeah. Peterson will be onto that.
Did you ever consider letting change go and not telling anyone?
No. Never even considered it. It was automatic, a reflex action.
You're wise?
That's right. I acted before I thought about it. When I did think, I was nearly sick.
So anybody's expendable in the pursuit of justice? I only ask because I happen to hold the same view myself. If you didn't have that kind of reflex action, no copper's family would be safe. If it had been my mother, I'd have done the same thing. And my sister.
Oh, shut up.
What?
Shut up and get in the back. Come on!
Got your 135. Over and out. Right. Charlie's just passed through Grantham, and he's on schedule.
Why? You say you hate me because I'm his wife. You'd kill me because of my education. Can't you see how stupid that is?
You keep calling me stupid.
I didn't say you were stupid. I said that's stupid.
No, that's what I mean, see? When a person's got what they call a good education, everybody else is stupid.
Killing is stupid.
Oh, yes, that's right, it's stupid. But it's not me that's killing you. It's him.
Who?
Your old man. If he don't come across with my dad, he will have killed you. It's for him to say, isn't it? If there's any monkey business, he's only got himself to blame.
Your father and your brother have killed people in cold blood. He can't let people like that go free. He's pulled people's fingernails off them. People like him, they're beasts. They're monsters. You are too.
It's Betty Roper. It's Betty Roper.
What is? What do you mean?
It was £5,000. I didn't know they were going to kill anybody.
You mean Change's daughter gave you money to tell her the route to the car?
Yes.
What else? Where's she holding Mrs. Kingdom?
I don't know anything about that. I promise I'd tell you if I did.
Pickering Street, West 6. That's where Change's family hang out. If she's holding Mrs. Kingdom, she won't be there, but Change's wife will, and she can't move, so we'll squeeze it out of her. Hurry! We're on alert! Lock this woman up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Taken over for another 3 miles. County HQ from Special Operation Papa Charlie. Suspected ambush, 3 miles short of checkpoint. Ambush. Ambush. This is it.
Not there! Stop off! Mrs. Rover! Charlie's not with him! Not with him!
What did he say? He hasn't got Charlie with him.
Hello, what's happened? Oh, what's happened?
Come here.
212, are you receiving? Are you receiving? Over.
Mrs. Roper. That's you, this is Kingdom. I want to talk to you.
Mrs. Roper, that you?
John! Switch it off. You heard me, switch it off.
Mrs. Roper, I want to speak to you. If you've got my wife there.
No. You talk to him. You say goodbye to your old man like I'm saying goodbye to my dad. You are, missus. You speak to him.
John, for God's sake, help me.
Frank Peterson went straight round to see May Change. He told her about the heart attack. Told her husband was seriously ill, that he probably wouldn't last till the morning. He said that if she told him where Betty Roper was holding you, he'd take her to the hospital for a last visit. The old girl agreed. She saw him last night. He died this morning. I think I killed him.
That's awful.
Try not to talk.
You said it was routine, but unusual.
Unusual. I shall be thinking about this for a long time. Got a lot to sort out.
Such as?
Charlie Change was the dregs, a villain of the worst order. He stopped at nothing. A lot of people say that villains and the police are alike. They speak the same language, they understand each other. That if the problem was wiped out, they'd both be out of a job. They're ruthless. Well, I was that all right. Ruthless is the word. I didn't stop and think.
I told you I understood that.
Charlie would have thought. If anybody had threatened a member of his family, he'd have done anything. He'd have given back everything he had. For his wife, for his daughter. I knew him. He was a family man. A rat. A barbarian. But he did it for them.
Well?
So what does that make me?